What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so social media is in an uproar over Snoop Dogg and Nelly, longtime rappers, OGs in the game, agreeing to perform during the Trump inaugural weekend in celebration. Of course, back on November the 5th, former President Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, defeated Kamala Harris, who was favored by most polls to win. Okay? And Trump will become President of the United States again tomorrow, January 20th. And he'll become the 47th president. And of course, a lot of people are upset about that. You know, Trump is a very controversial figure still. And, a lot of people are looking at Nelly and Snoop sort of, they're looking at them side-eyed, like, thinking that they are sellouts, C-words, and buck dancers. You know the terminology, okay? With Nelly was on what you call this show, what is it, Willie D's? And Nelly, for the most part, when talking about this, he stresses how he's always been criticized. You know what I'm saying? So that's nothing new. He says he's not political. And that, if Kamala Harris had won, he'd have performed at her inaugural. If Joe Biden hadn't dropped out and he won, he'd have performed at his inaugural. He said he respects the office of president. Doesn't necessarily mean that he agrees with everything the president does, but it's about patriotism and supporting the country and wishing the next president luck. So that's the thing. To me, Nelly's not political. So I really don't even care about him performing. I mean, he's a performer. That's what he does. He's not a political activist. He's a performer. Okay? Snoop previously had held Trump in contempt to the point where he made a song called Make America Crip Again, which was very critical of Donald Trump. And I can understand, because of the fact that Snoop has been more political and more of an outspoken critic of Trump, to just turn around and do a complete 180 and perform. I think he's already performed, I think it was Friday, at the first ever Crypto Ball, which is affiliated with the inaugural ceremonies. Nelly's going to perform tomorrow at the inaugural balls, the celebration events. But I get people saying, like, man, look, I mean, okay, Snoop, what's going on? You was critical of him, and all of a sudden, you cool with him. So I can understand people saying, Snoop needs to explain himself in this situation, I guess. But this is the thing. I think if people actually look into the situation and did a little reading and research, I know that logic, reasoning, and research is anathema to some ninjas out there. You know what I'm saying? Ninjas react to logic and reasoning like a vampire to garlic. But in the waning days of the Trump administration, Donald Trump pardoned Michael Harris. Michael Harris was a co-founder of Death Row. And when Trump pardoned him, he granted Harris his freedom after 33 years behind bars. And while many people thought the Death Row Records had shut down permanently, Harris went right back to work once freed, partnering with Snoop Dogg as the COO of the all-new Death Row Records. And together they planned to build the new Death Row, branding it as an NFT label and operating in the metaverse. And so basically, Snoop since then said, I have no problems with Donald Trump. He thanked Trump and praised Trump for pardoning Harris. And at the end of the day, you could even argue that Snoop performing at the inaugural is a favor for Trump because obviously it's a personal one for pardoning a man that was so instrumental in helping to start Snoop's early career with Death Row. And I'm pretty sure with Trump being now, with Snoop now being uh, the owner, or at least one of the owners of Death Row, he's come full circle. I'm pretty sure it helped him out his pockets as well, right? Now, let me get to the nitty gritty. First of all, both these guys are in their 50s, right? Both these men are now in their 50s. They don't owe me, you, or anybody other than maybe their family an explanation for why they will perform for anybody just because you disagree with that particular person or that political administration's policies. They're performers. That's what they do. They get paid to perform. Just like this goes along the lines of people who was, so irritated that Denzel Washington supposedly kissing a man, but yet they had never seen the scene. Never seen the scene. Also, Denzel Washington is an actor. I just never understood people always talking about, I'm tired of performers always injecting their politics in their performance. But people need to stop interjecting their politics into the entertainment business themselves. Y'all do it too. Y'all do it too. I could care less. Like, first of all, I don't even remember who really watches the inaugural festivities anyway. I don't really see a bunch of black folks. I'm sorry. I don't see brothers and sisters sitting back and watching the inaugural ceremonies like that. The only time I ever really seen that was when Barack Obama was inaugurated, and really the first time in 2009. That's when I saw people, because they was prideful, they was happy to see a black couple in that White House. That's the only time I really seen that. Most times people don't watch that shit. And by the way, speaking of Barack Obama, he looks even worse now. He looks even worse. You know why? Joe Biden today pardoned Marcus Garvey. Joe Biden pardoned Marcus Garvey. Another man who was completely broken. He literally was broken by racism in the American government. Joe Biden pardoned him. Why couldn't Barack Obama have done that? Scary ass Barack Obama. So that's Joe Biden, and before him, Donald Trump pardoning Jack Johnson. Because remember, Barack Obama was approached by John McCain, of all people, Republican, to posthumously pardon Jack Johnson. The government with the Mann Act, the witch hunt against him, trying to ruin this dude just because they didn't like his. Honestly, they didn't like the fact that he was screwing white women and that, he was arrogant and flippant, and he didn't put his head down and poke his lips out like every other Negro walking around back there. So they just wanted to punish him, right? Do you know Barack Obama would not posthumously pardon Jack Johnson? Remember, this is like 2000 teens, I guess. Jack Johnson died in an auto accident in 1946. He was so scary that he was afraid to do that. It took Donald Trump. By that point in time, John McCain had passed away from brain cancer. It took Donald Trump the pardon Jack Johnson. That's when Deontay Wilder was there because he was championing it, and people who were so ignorant, they don't understand nothing that's going on. They just see the image of Deontay Wilder there. Oh, Deontay Wilder, he a Trump supporter. Yeah, he a Trump supporter. He there. What he there for? He supporting Trump? I swear, man, some of these mother. Boy. Anyway, man, I don't care about whether these two guys are performing for Donald Trump at the inaugural. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? You're not even going to remember this in 2 months from now. You're not going to even care. You're not going to remember. And like I said, why are we holding entertainers to a higher standard than we do ourselves? You know what I'm saying? We're always inconsistent. We want to play, we on code, everybody got to be on code, blah, blah, blah. But then everybody who preached this FBA stuff, right, voted and defended Kamala Harris. But everybody's so FBA. Not that it matters to me, but everybody's so FBA. But when it comes to Kamala Harris, where was that at? Got that for Giannis, a mere basketball player, and by the way, a black man. But, when it comes to some cooch, all of a sudden that the FBA label just somehow just smears away, don't it? It's like a pap. Let me shut up. Just smears away. Just crazy, man. Because a lot of y'all just still closet Democrats who don't want to admit. You're Democrats, and you try to act like you're not, but you are. Then Joe Biden said all those things that he said in the past about black people. Said all these things, been rumored to say all these things, incoherently about black people out here in the White House. And don't nobody care. But you want to talk about Nelly and Snoop. Get out of here, man. Nobody respects some of these dudes no more, man. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares. And like I said, I'm going to talk about this in my Patreon. Now, all of a sudden, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking about racism in this country nonstop. It didn't matter if Barack Obama was in the White House, Trump was in the White House, Biden, now Trump again, right? We were talking about police beatings and unaliving of black men in this country. It didn't matter who was in the White House. Watch these dummies now all of a sudden. I told you I was going to do this. Now all of a sudden they're going to focus on that. Because they want to give you the impression that, this only happens when Donald Trump is in the White House. I tell you, I can't stand him, man. I'm going to criticize whoever's in the White House. Now, for those of you who kept thinking I'm a Republican, now that Trump's in the White House, now you're going to see me start criticizing the Trump administration. See, I am a true independent. I don't give up who's in the White House. I just want to see what's right for Americans and, yes, my people. That's all I care about. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. But you'll see. Watch all of a sudden now, people come out of the woodwork talking about, oh, man, did you see this happen in Clarksburg, Mississippi? Did you see this happen in shit kicked to Nebraska? That brother got, man, shut up, man. I did a video a couple years ago about how Jackson, Mississippi Republicans essentially took away the voting power of black citizens in Jackson, Mississippi for voting for local judges. Essentially apartheid, putting all the power in the white, rich area of that city. And people was more concerned about the Super Bowl. That video got 500 views because everybody was concerned about the Super Bowl. I think it was between the Eagles and I forgot whoever the hell they was playing. People was more concerned about that than what I was talking about. So, yeah, at the end of the day, man, I don't want to hear this mess, man. Snoop and Nelly, make y'all money, bro. Perform, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all performing for the goddamn Klan. And what difference does it make? You know what I'm saying? Both political parties are screwed up. Both political parties have history of racism. So I don't understand why some people feel like, oh, well, he performed for Biden or Harris, oh, that wouldn't have mattered. What difference? It doesn't make any difference. Both parties are just the same fang, are just two different fangs in the same snake. That's it. Two sides of the same dirty coin. No matter what analogy you want to use, a metaphor, it's the same thing. It doesn't make any difference. Remember what I got to say about something, guys.